boys and girls. So today is going to be about a rather serious topic. Our topic for this week is self-injury. And I've watched the other girls' videos, and I agree with a lot of what they've said, and now I'm going to put my input on it. I do have personal experience with self-injury as well as third-person experience, which is viewing one of my friends or other kids at school dealing with self-injury. So the broad terminology of self-injury can be a lot of things. Self-injury is not only cutting. Self-injury could even be something that we deal with, forcing yourself to lose weight, forcing yourself to gain weight at an unhealthy speed, either way. Cutting, bruising yourself, emotional abuse towards yourself. There's a lot of physical ways to abuse yourself, we all know that. So basically my problems with self-injury were cutting and I guess emotional abuse towards myself. When I was younger, mostly in junior high, I had really bad self-esteem, and not a lot of people were very helpful in supporting me in the way I was, except for, of course, my family and a few close friends, but it didn't seem good enough. And I will admit that I was probably one of those stupid kids that self-injured for attention, but the thing was that I wasn't following the trend, which unfortunately a lot of kids have used self-injury as a trend. Like a lot of quote-unquote emo kids are cutting to get attention from people, and it's become this big thing. When I started cutting, I didn't know that other people were cutting. I didn't know that self-injury really existed. So basically cutting for me was a kind of a way to escape from any other kind of pain, and this is going to get kind of, not graphic, but you can imagine. So basically I would use, I wasn't really a razor person, which is again really cliche. I used things like tacks or scissors or something like that, and it was mostly on my forearms. I don't really have a lot of scars, thank God. I didn't cut very deep, which again I think it was for an emotional outreach to people, so I'll get into that in a minute. But the whole point behind cutting for me was that if I focused any kind of energy on the pain that I felt from cutting, it was a release from any other kind of pain that I was feeling at that moment, and it was almost sort of, I can't say a high, but just an escape, really an escape to get away from any other thing I was feeling. But I do realize that afterwards I would, go to school and I would try to cover up with long sleeves and stuff like that. But I felt sometimes when I was at home and I felt like I was ready to tell my mom and I couldn't tell her, I would wear something that was short-sleeved or kind of, like the lacy gloves or whatever, the fishnet gloves or something. I would wear something like that, or accidentally show a hint of a cut, and that would get me attention. And the truth is that I had, my depression basically started as anxiety. When I was in the 5th grade, it started. I stopped wanting to go to school. I was really afraid of, for some reason, natural disaster. Like my mom would go out when it would be raining, and if she had a friend who had a cell phone, I would call and say, please come home, it's scary outside, it's raining. I didn't want to go out. I started to become mildly agoraphobic, which means I didn't want to leave the house. So one day when my mom forced me to go to school, we were riding in the car on the way, and I said, if you make me go to school, I'm going to kill myself. And I don't think that I meant it literally, but in any parent's point of view, that would be something serious. So my mom took me to the school counselor, and they got me started on Paxil, which now we know is not a very safe medication. It can cause, a lot of people say that depression medication can cause even more suicidal reactions in teenagers and young adults, but basically it can cause heart problems and stuff like that. So last year, April of 2008, so it's been about a year, I stopped taking my Paxil, and I've learned how to deal with things on my own, not to lean towards the counseling of my friends and family who want the best for me, and to not go to emotional vices. I haven't cut in years, since middle school probably, or the beginning of high school, but I've just learned other vices, and not eating, but other ways to well, sometimes, anyways, other vices to handle my emotional pain. So the best thing I can say is that if you are self-injuring and you feel like it's getting to the point where you can't handle it anymore, please tell someone. And if you are seeing someone that is self-injuring, it doesn't matter, like, you know, Naomi's story, it doesn't matter if you're going to lose that friend, because you may lose them as a friend, but they may also lose their life if you don't step in and help them. So I will put some links in the sidebar about information for getting suicide help, and that's all I really can say about it. It's just, I don't think the depression medication helped me as much as it was maybe a placebo, and with the counseling and the support of my friends and family, it just kind of helped all to get my life back on track. And I went to counseling for years. It took a really long time for me to get over my fears, and I do still, you know, have my depressing days, but I've learned how to cope with them on a normal level. So on that note, this has also been sort of a depressing day. Today we lost Devin's grandmother, and it was a really hard day for all of us on his mom's side. So we all went over there and just kind of talked to his grandpa, and we were there for a couple of hours. It was just really hard, and it was emotionally hard for me because she was a really good person, and she welcomed me with open arms. So I guess if you pray, or if you're religious, pray for her. I'm sure that if there is a God and a heaven, she's in a better place, because she would be one of those angels up there. I don't believe in it, unfortunately, but if those of you who do and you want to send her your wishes, you can do that. So thank you for watching, and I promise next week's video will be less depressing. And again, if you are having any kind of depression or anxiety, please get help, because it can get a lot worse. So, alright, thanks you guys, bye.